Hey guys, how you doing? It's the Intuitive Investor. Very chilly evening here in Texas. That's why I'm all bundled up. Wanted to talk about Shopify and the upcoming Black Friday Cyber Monday event. If you were following Shopify last year, then you would know that Shopify did this really cool online live event that spanned from Friday, Black Friday, all the way until Monday, where it tracked all these processed transactions and sales that were happening up to the minute. And what was neat about it is that they were able to track them by category, which let people and consumers and let investors know just who was making the money. So during that 4-day event, Shopify alone processed $1 billion in sales, which is absolutely insane. And so just to put that into perspective, at the height of that 4-day event, it was calculated that at its peak, it was processing about $1.1 million in sales per minute. And you compare that to the year prior, it had peaked only about $555,000. So that's about a double of what they were doing in 2016. So as you can tell, Shopify is obviously in the ups. What's going on here? Sorry about that, folks. So it's pretty noteworthy. There was a couple of patterns that they were able to identify during that 4-day event. Mobile sales accounted for about 64% of all the sales, in comparison to traditional tablet computer transactions. I myself find myself buying more things through my phone. So that was an increase of 10% from the year prior in 2016. Another thing to note was that historically Black Friday has been the big ticket, but in 2005 Cyber Monday was created, and Cyber Monday has actually been starting to catch up according to the data from Shopify collected. They've been started to catch up on all the sales, so maybe at some point Cyber Monday may be just as big, if not bigger, than Black Friday. So on top of that, another thing that they were able to see from the metrics is that Black Friday and Cyber Monday event has actually started to catch on in countries outside of the United States. As you guys know, Black Friday has been historically a United States thing, but with Shopify being in different countries, then it's something that business owners across our borders and outside of this side of the hemisphere have started to adopt, which is going to be even bigger this year, I predict. So most notably, what they were able to track was that countries like the United Kingdom, Spain, and South Africa were the ones who saw the biggest growth during this 4-day weekend. So it would be interesting to see if they're able to duplicate that, or if there will be new countries joining aboard. Some additional things that we noted, Shopify noted, was that South African businesses in particular saw over 5.3 times as many orders on Black Friday as the year before. In terms of advertisements, whether it's through social media, whether it's direct, email, and search, email led the charge, with about 4.29% being converted into actual buyers. Different industries fared differently on Cyber Monday and Black Friday. In 2017, apparel led the pack with about 1.8 million items purchased, followed by accessories like watches and wallets and all that stuff, and housewares. Accessories sold just under 1 million, and housewares were right around 500,000 or so. And so it seems that in 2017, apparel and fashion were the big winners in 2017. The reason why this further excites me is I reached out to Shopify a few weeks ago because I wanted to confirm that they were going to actually do the same thing as they did last year, and they confirmed that they are. The other part that I wanted to ask them is if they would be including cannabis sales. As you know, October 17th is when recreational marijuana became legal, and there are other countries who do allow for medical and recreational marijuana. And I thought it'd be neat if Shopify would be tracking this as well. Well, Shopify indicated that they couldn't confirm or deny that they would be tracking cannabis sales, but I don't believe they will. And I don't believe they will because it's just a relatively new thing for them to have to start tracking in Ontario, which is where it was recently legalized. But the most obvious reason for that is just the logistics of it. As you saw, cannabis was running short. A lot of companies in Canada were running out of cannabis. So if there's no merchandise to sell, then any tracking of cannabis sales would probably be disappointing and send the wrong message. So I think Shopify is going to decide not to include them. But all in all, that should be exciting for everybody, because Shopify does also operate an undisclosed number of shops worldwide for cannabis and cannabis-related products. The most well-known is the Ontario Cannabis Store, the government-run cannabis store where it's the only one of its kind. So all purchases made online through the OCS website, Shopify is seeing a piece of that. So that's got to excite people. If not, then I guess you're a zombie, because it certainly excites me. And that's on top of just everyone else that has a website that sells cannabis and other accessories that is just running behind the scenes. So with that said, we have to be absolutely excited about this weekend, this Thanksgiving weekend. I actually began to exit all my positions in October into November. And I did so because I just didn't want to fight anymore. As you guys saw, October was extremely rough on the entire market. All the indices like the Dow, S&P, and NAS have essentially given everything they gave that they earned. They gave it all back in the month of October, which is kind of sad. I was just comparing where I was and where I am at, and while I'm still positive and have a pretty good cushion, it still hurts to see just kind of where I was at in September, just to see it all dissipate. So I did exit most of my positions. I'm still in Shopify. Obviously, I'll always be in Shopify until the day I probably retire. But there's a company that I just added that just IPO'd this weekend, and it's going to be a whale. I mean, it's going to be Shopify round 2 in its own right, in its own way, and it's backed by all these government heavyweights. And so the company is in 14 different states. They have 40 different dispensaries. They do cultivation. And the name of that company is Acreage Holdings. They just IPO'd. I got in. I put basically everything that I had from all my other sales, and I put it into this. I absolutely believe in that company. So it may not be for everybody, but in any case, I'm excited about Shopify. Shopify, if you look at the 1 to 2 week chart from November 16th, I'm sorry, it has been absolutely resilient, even though everyone else has continued to tank. Especially when you compare it to the FANG stocks. It's been the only one that's actually been outperforming the rest of them in the month of November. And I think rightfully so. So with that said, please subscribe to my videos. As you know, you might find me on StockTwits as the Intuitive Investor. And if you have any comments or questions, please leave them here, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. All right, take care, guys.